Welcome back. You know, there's a case that's been sort of brewing for a while, and now it's looking like this thing's going to happen. Gwyneth Paltrow set to be on trial. It's a case involving a ski accident. Let's take a listen to Dora Shadell. She's a reporter with our great affiliate KSTU out in Utah, talking about what happened and what's going on with this lawsuit.
I'd like to be vindicated. I'd like the truth to be told.
Terry Sanderson was skiing with some friends on Deer Valley's Green Bandana Trail back in February 2016 when he heard a hysterical scream.
Just absolutely like King Kong came out of the jungle or something. It's just like, and then it was just instantaneous. I got hit in my back. It felt like right about shoulder blades.
Sanderson's friend, Craig Ramone, says he saw a skier, who Ski Patrol later said was Gwyneth Paltrow, lose control and run into him. When she got up, Ramone says a Deer Valley ski instructor who was with her came up to Sanderson and started yelling at him.
He says, you know, your buddy just took out Gwyneth Paltrow. And you know, and he was, the way he was yelling at him, I was thinking, man, he must have saw something I did.
Sanderson was knocked unconscious. Doctors later diagnosed him with 4 broken ribs and a brain injury.
My brain felt like I'd been injected with Novocaine. I don't know how else to describe it. It was just numb. Nothing was making sense.
And he says Paltrow and the Deer Valley instructor just skied off without offering to help.
It's your duty to hang around and render aid, even if you didn't cause it. Now, she caused it. But you have a duty to stop, render aid, help, report.
Sanderson says he reached out to Gwyneth Paltrow, and when he had a conversation with her lawyer, he says the lawyer blamed him for the collision.
He said something to me later, well, you better count yourself lucky because she hasn't sued you yet. He actually told me that.
So this is a he said, she said on the slopes of Deer Valley. Unbelievable. Take a look here. This is from Sanderson, who's the plaintiff in the case, videotape press conference. What Ms. Paltrow did that day was knock down Terry Sanderson, pick herself up, dust herself off, and ski off without rendering any aid. Meanwhile, from Gwyneth Paltrow's deposition, here's the back and forth. The attorney, did Eric, the ski instructor, ask you, I want you to stay here, Gwyneth? Paltrow, no. Attorney, would you have done that had he done that? Paltrow, of course. Attorney, and instead he was an authorized Deer Valley person saying you can go? Paltrow, correct. So what exactly is going on here? Why is this trial going to happen? Joining me from Salt Lake City, Utah, attorney and ski collision expert David Cutt, and from Los Angeles, senior reporter for DailyMail.com, Caitlin Becker. Great to see you both. David, I just want to start with you first. This thing is scheduled to happen like at the end of, towards the end of this month. I think March 21st is the date of this trial. Why? Why is this going to trial?
You know, there's some very interesting testimony on both sides of this case. All of the Deer Valley personnel support Ms. Paltrow, saying that it was Mr. Sanderson who crashed into her. And so, you know, these usually come down to what the eyewitnesses say. And other than Mr. Sanderson's friend, it sounds like all of the Deer Valley personnel are going to say that he was to blame. He was fine at the scene. He wasn't transported by ski patrol from the scene. And nothing happened for 2 years. Until fast forward till 2018, his lawyers go to the Sundance Film Festival in Park City and announce with great fanfare that Gwyneth Paltrow almost killed their client and left them for dead. So, you know, it's going to be an interesting trial.
Caitlin Becker, what is going on with Gwyneth here? You know, most folks just try to settle this stuff, get it done. It seems like she may be digging in her heels, saying, I didn't hit you, you hit me.
That is exactly what she's doing, Vinny. Like you said, I have covered a lot of these things for many, many years. And for the most part, people will settle for a nominal amount quietly and have this all go away. From the get-go, Gwyneth Paltrow's team has said this is not what happened. She is not to blame. And then 3 weeks after he filed suit, she countersued him, not only saying his version of the story wasn't accurate, but it was actually the opposite, that he crashed into her, and she is not giving an inch on that. So it's gonna, like you just heard, come down to the eyewitnesses. The important point here is both sides need to prove that their client was further down on the mountain, because the person who is downhill has the right of way. So whomever was officially downhill is the one who essentially is not at fault for this accident. And Gwyneth has maintained from the get-go that it was not her. She was downhill skiing slowly, she said, on basically a bunny hill with her 2 young children, and that his version of the story is just not how it went down.
So, Caitlin, where is Gwyneth Paltrow now in her career? How would you describe where she is? I know she has like a side business too, right? She's not just acting.
She actually really isn't acting at all anymore. She stopped acting several years ago, and she's sort of pivoted completely to running Goop, which is a wildly successful, sometimes controversial sort of lifestyle. It began as a lifestyle website, this aspirational lifestyle website. It has a successful podcast. It is a huge e-commerce business. She has a massive deal with Netflix. I think she's probably at the top of her career. She has multiple cookbooks. She's just taken a step back from acting, and it was really actually the Harvey Weinstein scandal that really forced her to want to reevaluate what she was doing with her career.
All right, David, so in this case, will both Gwyneth Paltrow and the optometrist, Mr. Sanderson, be compelled to take the stand and testify and tell us what happened on the slopes that day?
In a civil case, you know, it's different than a criminal case. They're both obviously going to testify. They're going to both want to tell their versions of what happened. So yeah, and you know, it's interesting. Gwyneth Paltrow clearly has dug in, as was said. She has said, I am more than happy to go to Utah and go to Park City and testify. And, you know, look, this happened at Deer Valley. Deer Valley is to ski resorts what Mercedes-Benz is to vehicles. And that's well known in the ski resort industry and in Park City. And when you have a Deer Valley instructor, all of the Deer Valley personnel say, he hit her, and to convince a jury that there was this conspiracy, you know, Sanders sued Deer Valley. Those claims were dismissed, but he sued Deer Valley, claiming that they falsified the records, that this was this grand conspiracy to protect Gwyneth Paltrow, and to convince a jury of that in Park City, Utah, that Deer Valley acted that way. We'll see what happens.
We will. Our guests are staying with us. We're going to take a look at the actual ski run when we come back. Also, coming up next hour.
On the docket tonight in Las Vegas, Nevada, Robert Tellis accused of murdering an investigative reporter who was investigating Robert Tellis. Tellis is now representing himself. Tonight, we take a look at how it's going.
Clark County District Attorney, on behalf of the state of Nevada, has officially filed a criminal complaint charging you with a crime of murder.
All right, folks, at the end of the month, Gwyneth Paltrow on trial. It's all involving a ski accident. It's a he said, she said. He said she ran into him, gave him broken ribs, a concussion, and a brain injury. She says he ran into her and she's okay, but, you know, they're going to have to do this throwdown in a courtroom because she's not settling. She's dug in. Take a look at the map here. This is the ski run, and it was, I guess, a bandana run. I don't know what that means. I'm not a skier, but yeah, the name of the run is the bandana ski run, but I don't know if there's any significance to that. I mean, it was sort of described as a somewhat bunny type hill. I know that's where the beginners kind of go. She's with her kids, so I would expect her to be on the beginner slopes there. Let me bring back in our guest, David Cutt, ski collision expert, Caitlin Becker, senior reporter, dailymail.com. Caitlin, has Gwyneth talked a lot publicly about this, or is she just kind of like going around in her business and she'll deal with this when she gets to court?
That one, she's going to deal with this when she gets to court. She has a team of legal experts on her side that are working her through this, and this isn't something she's really addressing publicly, and frankly, I don't blame her.
Well, David, how do we expect this to go? Is this a long trial? Is this a short trial? How is this going to work? Do we need experts to come in? Why is there no video of this? Don't they have surveillance video of all the slopes?
I don't think Deer Valley or any other ski resort's got surveillance video. Yeah, you know what? There's going to be all kinds of experts. There's probably going to be experts on the rules of the road for skiing. And there's Mr. Sanderson is certainly going to be bringing in lots of medical experts to describe his injuries. Absolutely. I think this is going to take about a week of trial, would be my guess.
And is this common? I don't ski. Again, I don't jump on the slopes. Are these types of collisions common? Are these types of lawsuits common, David?
So unfortunately, as the resorts are getting more and more crowded, the collisions are becoming more common, and sometimes resulting in very serious injuries and even deaths. A 5-year-old girl was killed a few years ago when she was hit by an out-of-control skier. And yes, I mean, more and more cases are getting filed when people have serious injuries. You know, I've handled a lot of these over the last 25 years.
So, Caitlin, we saw Johnny Depp and Amber Heard both testify last year. What type of witness do you expect that Gwyneth Paltrow will be on the stand?
She's incredibly poised, and unfortunately, Gwyneth has been on the stand before. She had to take the stand when she was going to trial for a stalker case, which was obviously very, very traumatic for her. But she's calm, she's cool, she's collected, she's very poised. We can definitely expect that on the stand. And I think it's, you know, it's interesting to note as I'm listening to what your ski collision expert is saying about how these things happen. I question whether or not if Deer Valley had told Sanderson that her name was Gwyneth Smith, if he would have been so litigious with this accident and asked for initially $3.1 million in damages. And a judge actually took that off the table in saying that the 3.1 in damages for this alleged hit and run is just not the case, and that now he only has negligence on the table.
Yeah, that originally they were going with the hit and run theory, but the judge dismissed all that. David Cutt, I'm sure we'll be calling on your expertise as this trial gets closer and closer. Thank you so much. Caitlin Becker, senior reporter, dailymail.com. Thank you so much. Always
Thanks,
great
Vinny.
to have your help in understanding what's happening in this world of entertainment. Okay.